Sawadika, welcome to our special program as we're counting down towards the general elections on May 14th. I'm Nat Bunak.
I'm Tulip Nak Sampopla.
And could you believe it that election day is this Sunday already? Time really flies.
It's not that many days left. There's still a lot of things to talk about.
Exactly, and especially that the election day is around the corner already. We can see that the campaign trails are getting much more intense. But there have been speculations as well, especially with the opposition parties between Pheu Thai Party and Move Forward Party, as to whether they will actually work together if they actually form the same coalition government after these two parties were seen to be rivals, especially during the election campaign trail. But recently, Pheu Thai has confirmed during a live interview on TikTok that they can still work together, but there's one condition. The Pheu Thai Party's prime ministerial candidates Pathongthai Shinawat and Sethar Thavisin gave an interview on TikTok and Instagram Live on Monday. Pathongthai said that the party holds no grudges against the Move Forward Party and they could work together in the same coalition government on the condition that the Move Forward Party will not seek to repeal Section 112 of the Criminal Code, also known as the Lèse Majesté Law. She said that both parties have been working together in opposition over the past 4 years, adding, however, that the party will have to wait for the election results on May 14th, which is this Sunday, before there's a final decision. The Pheu Thai Party is aiming for a landslide election victory in order to form a one-party government, but that chance is steadily diminishing as the Move Forward Party is gaining ground, especially among the younger voters. Both Pathongthai and Sethar reiterated that parties' political positions against dictatorship and parties associated with the military dictatorship, which is interpreted to mean the Palang Pracharat and the United Thai Nation parties. Sethar said that the Pheu Thai Party wants to distance itself from all the talk about joining hands with the dictatorial parties, as it has its own policies which it believes can be realized. Meanwhile, Pathongthai said that the question about the formation of a new government will have to wait until the outcome of the election is known, adding, however, that parties which join hands with Pheu Thai in forming a government must accept the party's candidate as the next prime minister and must support the party's policies. And regarding the Lèse Majesté Law, Pathongthai noted that this is a sensitive issue that needs to be discussed in Parliament, adding that the party will not seek to scrap the law, but they may ask the court to show mercy to those who were jailed or detained on Lèse Majesté charges. And as many people are aware that the controversial policies of the Move Forward Party include a repeal of the Lèse Majesté Law and the scrapping of mandatory military conscription. And it has been widely debated though, and we can see that Pheu Thai has made clear that they can still join forces with the Move Forward Party. However, one condition is that they should not repeal the Section 112.
Well, if you look at the political landscape in Thailand, though, Move Forward and Pheu Thai Party are actually on the same side of the spectrum, but with some different in policy. So, of course, they can work together. They worked together before in previous government, previous election. So they should be able to work together again this time.
Exactly, because if we compare to different parties, they're more on the pro-democracy side. So they were able to work together, and it can be expected that they can still do that, especially that their political standpoint are quite similar to each other.
I don't think we can really call any party pro-democracy though.
Right.
Because during the election, everyone is in the democratic process. That side of politics cannot monopolize democracy for themselves.
Or maybe we can say like they're more on the liberal side, whilst the other parties such as Palang Pracharat, the United Thai Nation Party, or Phumchai Thai, they're more on the conservatives. They're more directed towards that direction.
And the older generation.
Exactly.
Talking about Pheu Thai Party, This news is not politics per se, but it's something we have to talk about. Because since Paetongtarn Shinawat, the Prime Ministerial candidate of Pheu Thai Party, gave birth to her son, there has been an intention shown by the grandfather of the baby,
Yep.
Thaksin Shinawat, which is the former Prime Minister of Thailand, that he wants to come back home. And he said that in the microblog Twitter, he said that after 17 years on, he said that he decided to come home to care for his grandchildren in July this year before his birthday, and that he has been parted from his family and he is now old. This is exactly what he said. This is not the first time that he has indicated an intention to come back to Thailand though this year. The most recent one being when his daughter, the day his daughter gave birth to the baby boy, just earlier this month. Thaksin Shinawat has been in self-imposed exile since 2006 following a military coup led by Sonthi Bunyaratglin. Thaksin was sentenced in absentia to 2 years in jail for abuse of power in 2008. He was found guilty of corruption over a land deal in which he violated conflict of interest rules by helping his wife buy land from a state agency at a reduced price. His former wife, Pochaman, who jumped bail and fled to England, was, however, cleared of wrongdoing in the real estate deal. Immediately after the verdict was announced, Thaksin dismissed it as politically motivated. Politics and the court case aside, Thaksin was the first democratically elected Prime Minister of Thailand that served a full term of 4 years and was re-elected by overwhelming majority in 2005.
It would be interesting, though, if Thaksin does return to Thailand as to how people will respond, because those who've been supporting Pheu Thai, they all want him to come back. But on the other side, those who are against Pheu Thai, they might seem to be okay if he returns, but he has to receive punishment for what he did in the past.
Talking about his return, though, this is the point of conflict that sparked the protests last time.
Yep.
Before the coup during Yingluck government. When Yingluck government was trying to pass the amnesty law at 3 a.m. in the morning, people woke up and, oh, this law has passed. And then they got angry and they come out to the street because they just feel like, if you want to do it, why don't do it out in the open? Why you have to do it at 3 a.m. in the morning? And that sparked one of the biggest protests in Thailand and led to the coup. So if he's going to come back this time, I'm not sure if there will be anything that Pheu Thai Party try to do or any deal that might happen. We just have to keep our eyes on it.
Right, but one thing that we might be interested in, and I'm pretty sure some people might wonder as well, is that during the Thaksin administration, the Yingluck administration, they all have the same ending, which is a military coup. So some people might wonder, will this be like another deja vu for the Paetongtarn administration as well if she does get elected?
Well, data speaking, if we base on the statistic, Thailand has coup every 8 years. And the last time is over 8 years already.
Over 8 years already, led by General Prayut Chan-o-cha.
Yes.
And yeah, and when we're talking about all of these dramas surrounding politics, now let's move on to the United Thai Nation Party, which has nominated General Prayut Chan-o-cha as its prime ministerial candidate. The United Thai Nation Party has been attracting a lot of criticism lately for a number of reasons. One of them, it's their political campaigning, where they have used a laser beam on the Rama 8th Bridge. And this has caused a lot of controversy on social media. As you can see right now, that is the laser beam on Rama 8th Bridge that says United Thai Nation Party in Thai and number 22. So Bangkok Governor Chatham Siripan has ordered an election candidate of the United Thai Nation Party to stop the laser beam campaign imaging on the Rama 8 Bridge, following criticism on social media about the suitability and legality of such campaign methods. Chad offered an apology over a misunderstanding that the city administration had allowed the use of the bridge for political campaigning. Meanwhile, the former election commissioner Somchai Sisuthiyakon has urged the election commission to stop the United Thai Nation Party or even any other party from using the Rama 8 bridge for the projection of campaign material, claiming that it is against the election law. He claims that using lasers to project the campaign material breaches the law because the size of the poster is larger than the permissible limits, which are 2.45 meters long by 1.3 meters wide. And the Rama 8 bridge is actually a public property. Governor Chad explained that the laser imaging was the idea of Thipanan Sirichana, a candidate of the United Thai Nation Party. She has sought permission from the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration, or the BMA, to use the Rama 8 Park from May 8th to 12th for political activities, and enclosed a picture of a laser beam poster with the wording 22 United Thai Nation in her letter. He admitted that he did not read Thipanan's letter carefully, which has led to a misunderstanding that the BMA has granted permission for the use of the bridge's tower for projection of the campaign image. The governor said that the suspension bridge is under the jurisdiction of the Department of City Planning, which was not involved with the granting of permission for the use of the bridge. He said that he is against the use of laser lights for campaigning, as it may distract drivers using the bridge, while insisting that his statements today are not intended to protect any party. He also said that it is also up to the Election Commission to decide whether the campaign image was against the law. Meanwhile, the United Thai Nation Party distanced itself from the issue, claiming that it was Thipanan's idea and that she had acted on her own without discussing it or even obtaining permission from the party. And upon learning of the matter, the party had issued a warning letter to Thipanan and ordered her not to do it again. So this has caused online controversy during the past couple of days because many people think it's inappropriate, even though it sounds quite edgy. If people are not aware of the rules or regulations with the political campaigning, people might think it's cool. But on what has been widely criticized is the appropriateness of it.
And I think it's questionable when the parties say they have no idea that this thing, going to be happening.
Right, because I think when it comes to political campaigning, it should have been discussed within the party first, but it might be a different story whether they took it to a completely different level. But I'm pretty sure that it has been discussed before. And not to mention that when we talk about dramas during the past week, the United Thai Nation Party has put themselves into the drama for its recent video where they seem to be attacking the opposition parties, and that has caused a lot of criticism as well because the video has depicted the extreme outcome of what happens when you ask for big changes in Thailand, one of them being the end of military conscription, which has been widely criticized.
Well, it's the end of military conscription, but doesn't mean we're not going to have army.
That's the point. That's the main point here.
I think they try to make people misunderstand that. A lot of people think what's happening is that the Move Forward Party proposed to not having army, which is not what they proposed. They proposed to cancel the conscription, which is mean that anyone that enter the army will enter voluntarily.
Yes,
will apply for it.
So many of the netizens said that the video actually misinterprets what the Move Forward Party was talking about, and that also includes a number of issues, whether even like democracy. There was like one scene where a family was at a dinner table, and then the child was like demanding for democracy.
For the vote for food.
Vote for food, just because this is actually the father's favorite food, and that is.
I have to say though, I mean, they try to create some kind of wave or some kind of trend for themselves, but some part of the video is actually create more divisive opinions among people rather than, get people together.
And it's also clear that they're trying to portray their message to their target audience and their potential voters only, not necessarily everyone. So if their main target audience is the baby boomers, they seem to only communicate to that group only.
I think at this point in time, political party has to know that their base voter already in their pockets. I mean, this side will have the younger generation, this side will have the older generation. There's the one that's still undeciding or thinking about just thick of no vote. That's the group they should aim for. And I think that group needs something more substance than just something emotive.
It's not just only too emotive, but it sort of incites some sort of fear inside of them, because most of the conservatives would think that these drastic changes would ruin the old traditions in Thai culture. So that has caused a lot of drama online recently.
Well, anyway, talking about campaign policy, we have been hearing a lot about policy on old people, policy on education, policy, populist policy. But today we're going to talk about something different, the public sector that has long been criticized for being oversized as well as lacking in efficiency and transparency in Thailand. So as a result of this serious structural shortcoming, as much as 75% of annual government revenue gets earmarked for routine spending, such as on salaries and compensation for state officials, operating and utility costs, and other maintenance items. For example, the government has budget expenditure for fiscal year 2023 at 3.185 trillion baht, but capital spending accounts for only 695 billion baht, equivalent to 21% of the total budget, while current spending takes away 2.4 trillion baht, or 75% of total revenue. Salaries and compensation for state officials alone account for a sizable 40% of the total annual budget. A bloated and inefficient bureaucracy has been partly blamed for this high cost burden.
The Pheu Thai party has promised to undertake reforms to the public sector if it comes to power, but the policy statement has been short on details, except a commitment to introduce more digital technology to make the public sector more efficient, transparent, and less corrupt. Top executives of the party have also promised to cut military spending and divert that money to finance its digital wallet handout of 10,000 baht for everyone aged above 16 within months of coming to power. The Move Forward Party is also targeting military spending and has pledged to reduce the size of the armed forces by scrapping conscription. The two liberal parties have promised to decentralize the public sector by reducing the central government's administrative ambit and instead giving local governments a larger role. The Move Forward Party has pledged to liberalize the electricity business, which is currently a monopoly under the state-owned Electricity Generating Authority of Thailand, or EGAT. Thai Pranakla Party is campaigning with a pledge to reform the energy sector in the wake of high oil prices and skyrocketing electricity bills. The party wants to impose a windfall tax on oil refinery companies that are making unusually high profits due to the high crude oil price in the global market, precipitated mostly by the Russia-Ukraine war and the sanctions imposed on Moscow.
The energy sector is controlled almost entirely by two giant state enterprises, the PTT and EGAT. The political parties who are a part of the outgoing coalition government have not been very forthcoming on reforming the public sector. Thipat Mutita Jaran, an associate professor at Chulalongkorn University, Faculty of Economics, analyzed that reforming the public sector is a long-term issue, and most of the political parties may not have the vision for such a challenging task. He also felt that they want to quickly implement projects that could be complete in the next 4 years of their term. Should the next government want to make the public sector lean, he thinks they will need to start with downsizing the headcount of state officials. The government will also need to reform the country's healthcare system if it wants to curb the ballooning expenditure on healthcare for state officials. Virathai Santiprapop, a former central bank governor, also called for the overall reform for the public sector and of state enterprises in particular in order to prevent the draining of taxpayers' money, as he believes a bloated public sector will consume more public resources. Economists have called for the liberalization of electricity generation and transmission, which would mean taking away EGAT's monopoly.
Another key area is the reform of the bureaucratic system and the regulatory regime. Critics blame a laggard bureaucracy and outdated laws and regulations for imposing high costs on both businesses and consumers. The Thailand Development Research Institute, or TDRI, an independent think tank, projected that a reform of Thailand's bureaucracy and outdated laws would boost growth of the GDP by 0.25% point annually. Laws and regulations related to licensing impose a cost of about 200 billion baht. If unnecessary laws would be removed, the private sector could save costs estimated at 130 billion baht annually, which would have been equivalent to 0.8% of GDP in 2018. At the same time, a Bank of Thailand study published in 2017 found that moves to excise many outdated laws and regulations or even streamlining them would save as much as 130 billion baht annually for business and ordinary people. The regulatory impositions, such as the complicated licensing process or tax filing procedures, have resulted in high costs for businesses and individual consumers. So we will have to see whether the political parties will actually make changes towards the energy sector.
Well, we have to say, though, reforming public sector, it's a big job.
Yes.
And it needs a lot of planning, and it takes a long time, but it needs to be done. It cannot stay how it is now. It needs to be leaner.
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's going to be a tough job, especially for the next administration as well. And as we're talking about the election battleground, we can sort of see who is actually leading and which area prefers which candidate. So maybe we can take a look a bit more as to the popularity of each of the candidates at the moment. So based on the Director of Innovation for Democracy at the King Prachapidok Institute, Dr. Satithorn Thananitichod, predicts that two parties, Pheu Thai and Move Forward, will take over the city in the upcoming general election. This is actually a prediction by Dr. Satithorn only. He said that the conservative camp may go extinct in the capital, but it has a chance in certain constituencies where fierce competition between Pheu Thai and Move Forward candidates will split the vote. As to what the opinion polls have shown so far, Nation Group predicts that in Bangkok, there will be 14 MP seats for Pheu Thai, 10 for Move Forward, 5 for the Democrat Party, 2 for Thai Sang Thai, and just 1 each for the United Thai Nation Party and Palang Pracharat Party. The same survey found that Pheu Thai's Paetongtarn Shinawat is the most popular prime ministerial candidate among people in Bangkok, which accounts for about 29%. Next is Pitha Limcharoenrat of the Move Forward Party, which accounts for 24%, followed by Pheu Thai's another prime ministerial candidate, Sethar Thavisin, who got about 12%. Outgoing Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha of the United Thai Nation Party received the support of only 4.9% of the Bangkokians surveyed, while respondents who said that they were still undecided were about 18%. At the same time, about 40% of the respondents said that they would cast their ballots for Pheu Thai in both the constituency and party list ballots, while 23% said both of their votes would go to the Move Forward Party. About 22% were undecided over which party to support, and 20.8% undecided on the constituency candidate they would vote for. However, parties from the conservative camp, including the Democrats and Palang Pracharat Party, received support in single-figure percentages.
Meanwhile, NIDA poll survey released in late March found that almost 35% of Bangkok respondents intended to vote for Pheu Thai in both constituency and party list ballots. The Move Forward Party was preferred in both ballots by almost 28%, while the United Thai Nation Party scored 14.3%. The capital's voters seem to be tilting towards Move Forward's Pitha as their favorite candidate for Prime Minister. So based on the last 3 monthly national-wide survey conducted by Nidapo, Pitha's popularity has surged and has now overtaken Paetongtarn, whose popularity nationwide has dropped. After so many years under a conservative government, Dr. Satithorn felt that more and more Bangkok people are leaning towards the pro-democracy camp. By his estimate, 60% of Bangkok residents would be on liberal side, while the rest remain conservative. He believes the votes for the liberal camp will be divided roughly half and half between Pheu Thai and Move Forward. But the votes for the conservative camp will be shared by 4 parties, namely Palang Pracharat, United Thai Nation, the Democrats, and Phumjai Thai. Satithorn said that the 4 main parties of the conservative camp risk winning no member of parliament seat in Bangkok because they are all competing against each other for the same voter base.
And if we go back to the 2019 election, Palang Pracharat emerged as the biggest party in the capital. The pro-military and staunchly Conservative Party won 12 of the 30 seats available in Bangkok. Pheu Thai and Future Forward Party, which is Move Forward Party's predecessor, each won 9 seats in the city. Palang Pracharat ran with coup leader Prayut as its PM candidate in 2019. However, Prayut has since joined the newly established United Thai Nation Party in his bid to win a 3rd term as Prime Minister. Satithorn believes swing voters could prove decisive in the battle for MP seats in Bangkok. As for this year, the capital's 4.4 million voters will elect 33 constituency MPs plus another dozen or so party list MPs. Parties need a minimum of about 350,000 votes to win a party list seat. And he predicted that both Pheu Thai and Move Forward parties are therefore battling to sway undecided voters to their side. So it's only 4 days away until the general elections will take place. This does not include the advanced voters because they will be counted it's already done and they will be counted really soon. But it's going to be a fierce battle from now on. And especially this Friday, most of the parties will be organizing a very last campaign rally to gather all of their supporters and to convince them one last time before they enter the election stations and then cast their ballots.
Like Palang Pracharat said, they have secret weapon to reveal on Friday. I wonder what that is.
Well, I don't think it's just the Palang Pracharat party only, but every party will have its secret weapons as well, which they might not tell the media up until that day.
Talking about Friday, we have special program for you this Friday covering the last day of the rally. We will have Nat at Pheu Thai Party.
Yep.
We will have Kittipat at
the United Thai Nation Party. So Kun Kittipat will be there, and another reporter, Kun Atikan, will be covering the Move Forward Party and Palang Pracharat parties as well.
So don't forget to tune in at 7 p.m. and we have Dr. Jet Thonawonit sitting in here with us too.
And thanks for watching, and we'll see you this Friday and this Sunday for our special programs on the elections. Until then, we'll say good night. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ